want to start with a story about a man who was in Thailand. And I saw this video of this guy. He's smoking a cigarette. And while he's smoking, a 4-year-old child comes to him and he says, "Give me a cigarette." He said, "No." He said, "Look, don't you know you're a kid? It's bad to smoke. You shouldn't smoke, etc." Right? And then the kid, he basically hands a note to the man. So the man, and they show this, you can watch it online. The man just like opens the note and it says, "You worry about me, but why not about yourself?" His actions didn't match his words, because he's there smoking and he's saying to the other child that you shouldn't smoke, it's bad for you. Right? It's very interesting to watch, obviously, the reactions, right? Because one of the issues you'll find in leadership is that bad leaders, they will say things and they won't do them. And then everyone around can see that this person is not being at whole, doesn't have integrity with their words. I look at the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where he said, "Each of you is a shepherd and all of you are responsible for your flocks." Okay, so we can be leaders in any situation where we can have a positive influence on others. So for example, you guys can be leaders to each other. Like when you were speaking this morning about who you love, I'm sure that was inspiring others as well. So you can be leaders. It doesn't necessarily need to mean in terms of authority, right? So when we talk about leadership, we're actually talking about something specific. In this hadith that you heard, what is the key word? Each of you is a shepherd and all of you are responsible for your flocks. What's the big word that's coming out at you guys from that one? Responsible, yeah? So the key, one of the keys to leadership is responsibility. It's responsibility, yeah? And like I was saying, when we're talking about leadership, we're not talking about you having authority over others, like, okay, Muhammad's a CEO and he's a leader. That doesn't mean each of you is not a leader. He actually wants you guys to all be leaders, right? And take that responsibility. So this is not about telling other people what to do or being in charge. This is about you actually being a leader. What we need to realize is that the leadership we're talking about here is actually a responsibility upon you, okay? So each of you, for example, you all have a position in your organization, right? What does that mean? It means that you guys are responsible for fulfilling certain duties and tasks in that role. This role and position you've been given, this is actually a trust to you. This position is a trust to you, and if you don't fulfill it properly, it will eventually leave you. And the way you fulfill it is actually by being an outstanding leader. Like, if he's thinking properly about the organization, he's thinking, okay, I'm coming on, I'm building this. The people I'm going to bring on, they're going to bring on people, they're going to manage people, they're going to bring on more people, they're going to manage more people. So everyone has to take responsibility. But if you can't even do your own work yourself, how are you going to manage 3 other people who are then going to have to do work themselves as well? And this is why we're saying that keep in your mind that this trust is very important, it's a responsibility, and the way you're going to shine as a leader is by your actions speaking louder than your words. So now, you don't have any leadership experience, for example, let's just imagine, and you're thinking, okay, I want to become a leader. The natural part of you says what? Don't do it, can't do it, never done it, not good enough, drama. Right? And this is why I think success comes in. But I'm saying if there was no limit and you could be successful, what kind of leader would you want to be? Best leader, right? Level 10. You want to be outstanding in what you do. And the reason why you want to be outstanding for the sake of Allah, because fundamentally it comes down to you're doing it for Allah. The standards you have are the highest. So, you know, there's a saying, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So the way you make your bed, for example, there's a way that you make your bed, right? The way you make your bed is probably very similar to the way you do everything else. Remember Harun Qureshi, yeah? I was in the bathroom and he was in the bathroom and he was making wudu. And I was making wudu, right? Cleaning myself. And I saw him come in and it was like this. He went, and it was just done. Like literally within like, I don't know how many seconds, right? It was just done. And then I started speaking to him and I realized he does everything like that. He's action man, he's like very fast. And me, I'm like, okay, methodical. I'm thinking about how am I doing, But the way I do that is the way I do everything. And same with you guys. Like if you look at your pattern, the way you go to the bathroom, the way you make your bed, the way you do wudu, the way you do this, there's a certain way you do it. And this is why it's so important to have high standards. Because if you have high standards in one thing, it'll see you through in the other areas. But if you have low standards and you do things very poorly, it'll see you in the same way.
Da 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 da